So with the Suicide Squad isekai show finally airing on Max, and even a day after writing the script, the Kite Man trailer dropping, I decided for myself to do what I love again, which is reviewing more things. And today we are reviewing one of my favorite things that has released from DC under the James Gunn era, the Harley Quinn show. As per how I review things, the things I say in this will be extremely vague, as to avoid any small spoilers as much as possible. But going back to why I mentioned the Suicide Squad isekai show is, well, no one can change my mind, but Harley Quinn is absolutely the poster girl of the show. She has always been that deranged, clussy fever people got since the Batman animated series, and she has been a clear staple ever since. From being cleared from Arkham, to just always being crazy, and now being in love with Poison Ivy. And a lot of her iterations was always still being in love with the Joker. That's her character, to do crimes with him and do what he tells her, and honestly just never really changing or having a thought of her own. It wasn't until years later, even in the animated film was pushed out by DC that anyone barely watches, where she leaves him behind. And I'm happy to say we finally have the same change, but with the more detailed showing on how she becomes her own person again. And not just for her character, but her voice too. I think it's safe to say that the majority of people only know the raspy voice of Harley that Tara Strong has been delivering since she started voicing the character. Tara's Harley is good, but as time passed, hearing her everywhere has gotten quite stale. For me, at least. I always loved the OG voiced by Arlene, but because of Tara being everywhere, it made me appreciate the original Harley even more. And with the new Harley Quinn show, it was a breath of fresh air to get a new voice that freaking knocks the performance out of the park. And she just fits this new version of the character so much.
Harley? Oh, is that you?
It's me, dickhead. By the way, that's also the Wi-Fi password.
What is?
Oh, and she's also voiced by this actress from The Big Bang Theory. And it wasn't until a night where I was watching the show again for a friend that, wanted to watch it or just started watching it, where he recognized her voice. So he looked it up, and what do you know? Already the show has a positive. I just had to mention these things before I get into the real review. So let's get right into it. In the beginning of the show, we are introduced to Harley and the Joker crashing a party. But we also get a first glimpse of Harley trying to change now, saying how it was agreed that for this heist that she was gonna be the one calling the shots. Obviously, that doesn't happen because the Joker can't handle being quiet and just does his things. She doesn't get super upset, but more annoyed that the terms weren't agreed, and brings up how she wants to be his partner in crime, not some sidekick anymore, and that she wants to be part of the Legion of Doom with him. Then of course Batman comes in to stop them, Joker lets Harley handle the bat while he escapes, and then she gets tossed into Arkham, where we, the audience, get to meet Poison Ivy. I absolutely love this version of Ivy because she's just so loving and supportive to Harley, and obviously trying to change herself as the show goes forward. She's a loner because, well, she's Poison Ivy. She only appreciates the company of plants, but Harley is the only one that remotely reached her when she was a psychiatrist. So going back to Arkham, Harley kept reminding Ivy and everyone that the Joker will come and break her out because he loves her. Ivy and the other noticeable inmates gets annoyed with these statements and kept telling her that
He's not coming.
That is just one person's opinion.
He's not coming!
How the fuck do you know? You're all fucking insane.
and this was going on for a whole year in Arkham. Then Ivy had a chance to escape and brought Harley along because
I ate an orange and shit out a seed.
yes, the comedy in this show is top notch. I genuinely love it. Maybe it's not for everybody, but it definitely tickles my fancy.
Joker, Riddler, Two-Face! What do they have that you don't?
A penis?
A crew!
So we go back to society into Ivy's pad, and man, she is living luxuriously. We meet one of the best characters in the show, Frank.
I mean, I get by just fine on my own, so.
Your independence is quite inspiring.
Oh, can it, Frank?
I love you, Ivy.
And Harley at this time was forced to listen to Ivy because she tied her up to listen to her. And at this moment, she has a therapy session with herself to see how this relationship with the Joker was really one-sided. But that all falls apart when the Joker manipulates her emotions and she goes right back to his arms right in front of Ivy. So maybe a few hours pass or maybe a few days pass, and Harley and Batman are now trapped together by the Riddler. And that forces the Joker to come out and choose which one to let go. You can already see where this is going. The Joker chooses Batman because that's his yin to his yang, and Harley gets a very harsh reality check this way and basically breaks down and breaks free from herself with this event. And the one that comes to save her from this trap is Poison Ivy. And this is one of the few times you really see a vulnerable Harley. But this was also the moment that finally changes her entire view on the Joker and decides to go full-on independent and tries to make a name for herself to be recognized as a full supervillain worthy to be part of the Legion of Doom. From trading her classic hammer to a bat, and of course, her new look, which I absolutely love. And that's the premise of the show all the way up to season 3. Harley begins to change, and each season really has a theme they go off of to set the tone. Season 1 is her trying her best to change. And it's the beginning of her new life, so obviously there's a lot of ups and downs. And even she reflects on some of the actions she has done while trying to change. Season 2 is what true love really is. And season 3 is the inner conflict of, am I a good person? And the way they approach these themes is pretty good. It never really strays too far how Harley is as a character. She remains the same crazy clown woman, but again is learning things as she grows. And not only that, we have Ivy, King Shark, and even Clayface that bring their own issues throughout the seasons while at the same time helping Harley with her endeavor. Not all of them are trying to change like Harley, they know they're bad. Except for Clayface. I watched this show up until its latest season, season 4, and I still can't tell if he calls himself a villain or not. I absolutely love this show. Again, it's one of my favorite things that DC has produced in recent years, and no joke, it's one of the best things they produced with their recovery arc with James Gunn. It has a lot of great writing, comedy, and music. And the absolute amazing performance that Kaylee gives for Harley has me genuinely saying that this is top 3 Harleys of all time, easy.
They think I'm not in their league, but they don't know shit!
And I just have to add this in here, like, this show has been on since, like, what, 2019? And sadly, she couldn't reprise her role as Harley in Multiverses. They went straight to Tara Strong. Some may not like seeing Harley change as a character and person, but to those who say that, clearly didn't watch or don't like Batman the Animated Series. Because even there, Harley changed for the better. We just didn't see the full process of it. If the new Harley Quinn show won't be your cup of tea when you start, that's fine. I know people who stopped watching Attack on Titan because they had no interest in it. Until I kept annoying them to watch it, and now they admit it's in their top 5 list. Now, for those who have watched this show and are caught up like me, you might be wondering why I kept out Season 4 out of this review. It's simple. It's not as good as the first 3, and you can really tell. Regarding Season 4, I like the theme they tried to tackle with Harley and Ivy. It's a unique situation for them for sure, but sadly, they just couldn't land it in Season 4. And a lot of the jokes didn't really hit well either. That's just my quick 2 cents. I don't want this video to be longer than necessary and turn into a bad review for just Season 4. But I am praying that Season 5 will be so much better. But first, we got a Kite Man series coming up, and I'm watching that the moment it drops. I just hope the writing will be as good for his show, and honestly, I'm looking forward to his relationship in the show because, man, she is absolutely gorgeous. I never heard of her character until the show, and that reminds me of how Batman the Brave and the Bold handled things. It was comical. but it also showed a bunch of villains and heroes that usually got the shorter hand of things. And if Kite Man does really well, that will also support the Harley Quinn show to get more seasons. I just love this series. I just really do. I really love this series so much. But that's my very vague review of the show. I would have loved to say other things, but that would demand me to mention parts of the show, and I want y'all to experience it for yourself. This is my first time reviewing a show, and as I write this, I'm thinking if I can even do it right because of copyright issues, so this will be a trial and error thing. Unless I slap in like, you know, a Final Fantasy XIV video to fill in the gaps. But if this does well, I'll be happy to do more. I'm waking up at 4 in the morning now due to the farm life, so I kind of have more time on my hand until the harvest. But aside from that, please hit that like button.
Stop. Frank, shut up. And no again. What? Stop saying do it. You just... ugh, fine.
It's free and it does more than you think, but more importantly, it will show if people really did care for this style of videos. But with that said, thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Oh my god. And you're gone.
Yeah, you shouldn't hear any of that shit.